Hello, beautiful souls. It's Breanne here, your tarot reading, energy shifting, conspiracy guide to unraveling all things mystical. If you guys are looking for tarot predictions, deep dives into the unhidden truths, or some cosmic insight, you guys are in the right spot. Hit that subscribe button and join me on this journey where we can decode the universe together. And as always, I encourage you guys all to use your discernment, take what resonates, leave what does not, and let's dive into the topic for today. Hello, beautiful souls. It's Breanne here. Welcome back to my channel. If you guys are new here, welcome to Readings with Breanne. I'm looking forward to doing a video for you guys today on my story and also kind of just going into a little bit on how I channel, how I receive my messages. I think this is an extremely important video, and I just wanted to say thank you so much for the individual that brought this up in one of my comments. So there was a comment recently, and I'm going to just read it here. It says, "It would be great to know your methodology and why you do each thing before you deliver messages. Why wax and water? Why the lavender? Also, when you do the crystal ball, what do you see? Because I find this fascinating. Have you explained this in any of your videos or a personal story and trajectory?" So this is such a phenomenal question, and as I was reading it, I was slightly shaking my head at myself, like, oh my goodness, why have I not provided this for you guys? I know there has been a lot of you lovely souls that have been with me from day one and are familiar with me through my partner Brad and his teachings and his channel. But some of these new individuals that are checking out my channel aren't familiar with my story and, how I use the tools to provide messages for you guys. So extremely important, because also, you guys, as you see, there's going to be more and more. There's already so many different tarot readers to channelers to psychic intuitives. And it is very, very important to use your discernment with everyone, with anything. Check in with yourself, because there are certain individuals and, let's say, entities as well, that may not have the highest intentions or the best intentions when they deliver messages. So very important, and I'm really excited to go into a bit of my story and how I use my tools and to make sure that I am using my discernment when I deliver messages to you guys as well. So let's dive into the topic for today. So where did it all start for me? I have to say, kind of growing up, I did not grow up in a religious family. I didn't grow up in a big spiritual family either. But it really all started from a very young age. I was always interested in all things kind of magical. And what really sparked my attention and interest in this is the two shows Bewitched and I Dream a Genie. I was obsessed with these, you guys. I would sometimes watch these shows, the same episode 4 times a day. That's how obsessed I was. And these two shows were just kind of these little catalysts for me to really diving into my own magical abilities and just the mystical and magical world itself. Now, I know a lot of you can probably relate to this comment, but growing up, I just felt different. I did not connect well with other kids. I actually preferred not to hang out with other kids. I was very much one of those loner type energies. Even throughout school and high school, I had very few friends. I would keep my group super small, and I personally just really did enjoy hanging out in my own company. I would do my own thing, and I have to say, as I grew up too, I do have a mother that was absolutely loving, but there was a lot of toxicity growing up in my environment, and it kind of led me to, again, spending a lot of time outdoors and just kind of being immersed in the whole magical aspect, because that was kind of my escape to get away from all the noise and all the toxicity that was going around in my environment. So now, once I graduated, I ended up kind of V-lining it out of my home, and I moved back into the city. So to kind of take a one step back as well, my stepdad would build houses, not his career, but he would do it. And in that process, there was quite a bit of building and moving. So we were moving multiple times, throughout my high school and my school years. And we ended up moving into this little town, Grand Forks, for my grade 12 year, which it was a phenomenal year, and I actually met some amazing people there. But there wasn't really a whole lot, and my environment at home was kind of growing more toxic. And I graduated high school and I beelined it out of there and traveled back down to the city where I'm residing now, down in BC. So where it kind of started from there was I was introduced to a Reiki master. She is a phenomenal teacher, and that's where I kind of was introduced into Reiki, and that's what led me into my level 3 Reiki certification today. So upon my Reiki journey, I really started that at quite a young age. I was around the age of 20 when I became certified and started working with energy, working with myself, and just learning how to properly work and align my chakras and balance my systems out. Now, that also kind of led me into frequencies, which I do love and I still use to this day. I would listen to certain frequencies, such as the solfeggio frequencies, and I would be able to kind of enter into a bit of an altered state where I would see certain geometric shapes floating above my bed, and that also led to kind of a thinning of a veil where I could then occasionally see spirits and beings and loved ones that have passed over. And it was a very unique experience, which really led me to go, oh my goodness, there really is so much more than just this physical body. So I was shown some really, in my perspective, in my experience, some proof of like, there's something absolutely to energy work. So that is kind of what led me to deepening my passions. I really got into even working with herbs and oils and white magic. It was really just this catalyst of just propelling me through one thing to the next thing. So as time kind of went on, I have to say though, I did have plans, guys. I had plans to really pursue Reiki and do this as a profession, but ego kind of set in. And I wanted to also kind of talk about something because this is extremely important. As I said in the beginning, to use your discernment, because as you grow and move forward, a lot of the times we seek out mentors or gurus or masters, right? And I was introduced to certain individuals, and I have to say, it led me down a little bit of a spiral, and I really want to take a moment to talk about this experience. I'm not going to be naming any names here, but there was a particular, and kind of you guys to backtrack as well, this does not have to be a personal one-on-one thing. There is a lot of online groups and online communities that come together, and some of them are more cult-like, you guys. So I really have to say, make sure you use your discernment when you're dealing with gurus, masters, that type of thing. So to kind of share a bit of a backstory on this, there was a let's say master that I a so-called master that I followed. And now, from the surface, from what I could see, there was a lot of reputable, information out there about this individual. He was a, best-selling author. He was a spiritual teacher. He was even a certified psychiatrist. So when I kind of looked at kind of diving into his teachings and what he had to share, in the beginning, I was really intrigued by his work, and I followed a lot of what he had to teach, and I've also purchased a lot and spent a lot of money on his certain, let's say, tools over the years. And it was probably a good solid 2 years that I followed this teacher. Now, something deep inside as time went on told me something was not right. There was that little nudge, you guys. There was that little nudge. And I have to say, the people that were in the community were actually, most of them were phenomenal. They were super sweet souls. And I don't think they really seen through what was really happening on the deeper level. But it did take a little bit of a dark turn in my opinion, and I started questioning things. And as I started questioning and I started seeing, and there was other individuals at the same time as me questioning and like something's not right here. And there was a pivotal moment where I remember asking a question to him, and he would not address me unless I called him master. And there was something that just did not sit right. And the more I kind of went down this, discernment, went down the discernment, rabbit hole, there was just one thing after another that was like, oh my goodness, okay. My intuition has been telling me this is not something that I feel like I should be involved with. So with that being said, I ended up detaching. And what I found very interesting as well, you guys, if you come across certain gurus and teachers that think that they are almighty and they are above everyone, that's a red flag. It's like there was something that was off and I didn't listen to myself. So my heart goes out to any of you guys. Like, please do your research. Please check in with yourself to see how you feel about the people that you were following, okay? And I think it's actually important to also include, it's not necessarily that certain individuals may even have bad intentions, but there are certain entities and beings out there that have, let's say, so-called hidden agendas, or could be putting up a so-called false light to kind of distort their true intentions. So, if you are not fully grounded and fully connected to your heart and your vibrational, your authentic self and your truth, then you could be also bringing in and channeling other entities that may have hidden agendas. So just no matter whether you're receiving messages from spirits or other extraterrestrials or star nations, or you're listening to videos from, other people sharing their messages, then just again, use your discernment. And I have to say, throughout that time frame of when I was following this teacher as well, I was consistently being kind of in a darker energy. I was always getting sick. I had this pneumonia that I got, and I had it for months on end, from just feeling down, feeling awful, getting a cold all the time. It was just one thing after another. And when I was able to detach from the connections with this group and the energy of that group, things completely shifted and changed, you guys. And I'm really happy to say I wasn't the only one that was seeing this. There was a huge group of us who woke up to the information that was being shared and was like, no, something's not right. And the real nail in the coffin with that for me was to see how this teacher reacted against these people speaking their truth. He did not like that very much. So just again, use your discernment. Once I again detached from, connecting with that community, it was a sense of, I felt a little defeated afterwards. I mean, again, I got stuck in that hole. I mean, I was just working a 9-to-5. I, get up, go to work, go home, eat, go to bed, right? You just kind of get stuck in this loop. And it was so unfulfilling, you guys. I did not feel like I was following my soul's purpose. I wasn't happy. And I just kind of ignored it and pushed it down and shoved it down and fed it a little cookie until it just got louder and louder and louder. And that's kind of what propelled me into this, my massive, I would say, transformation over these past 2 years. And I knew what that magic felt like because I felt it when I was a child. But I had to go back into that magic. I had to heal some stuff, and I had to step out of my comfort zone, which was really hard for me because, especially growing up, I was always very shy. I was always extremely highly emotional, and being around people just was a heightened sense of sensations. And sometimes even today, I can be extremely emotional, and being in large groups and large crowds, and not to say anything is upsetting me, but the emotions are so strong. I can get emotional. I can cry. I'll be in the middle of watching, for example, my daughter's hockey game, and I'll start crying because everyone's cheering. And it's just this sense of having these heightened emotions that have been something that I had to work on, but also accept, because I think it's, important to not just push down or ignore or try to feel bad about your gifts and your abilities. So these have been really transformational. I have studied quantum healing hypnotherapy, which is a phenomenal tool. I think hypnosis is fantastic for going into those deeper states, clearing out certain traumas. Really, really recommend a hypnosis as well. So at the end of the day, that voice got louder and louder, and I'm like, I can't keep living my life for other people. I think it's very important to follow your heart, follow your true authentic vibration, and move forward with that. So even though stepping out of that comfort zone is probably one of the most uncomfortable and awkward momentums moving forward, is just the most rewarding and amazing thing you can do. So I highly recommend stepping into your guys' truth, even if that is uncomfortable. And sometimes that means relationships fall, jobs fall, everything in your life changes. So that's kind of a bit of my journey of catapulted me to where I am now. And in that transition, I was looking for answers through the tarot. I came across tarot videos. I was studying them. I was watching them daily, and I decided, okay, well, I'm gonna start buying some tarot cards for myself. So I started buying tarot cards, and I love them. I started almost collecting them. I have decks after decks after decks and oracles as well. So as I started to it was more of a self-learning process, but I've worked with them for quite a while, quite a few years here, just leaning into the stories that they truly hold. And it's really just diving into our deeper depths of who we are, and maybe seeing things from different perspectives. Also, since I was a little girl, I've always had a deep love for buildings, architecture, real estate, and I'm not sure if it's because my dad would, for his pastime, build homes, but he would have the books and the blueprints of certain designs, architectural designs and blueprints. So I would spend my weekends with a pen and a paper, and I would recreate the blueprints from these housing designs. And I have just always absolutely loved, immersing myself in architecture. So that's kind of also where my love for Feng Shui has come into place. I really enjoy harmonizing the energies and working with the energies, because I've seen how powerful they truly are when you work with them correctly. And I became a certified classical flying star Feng Shui consultant as well, which is a phenomenal tool, and it's so much more in depth. There's a lot of Western Feng Shui that is very fast food and kind of a one size fits all, and that's not truly how Feng Shui is meant to be. So I have been really enjoying studying and drawing myself into the depths of classical flying star Feng Shui. Now, my background in finance and accounting was never truly fulfilling, and these past few years have been so pivotal and such a big transformation. I am so incredibly grateful for everyone in my life, for my partner. My fiance, has been so incredibly supportive and helping me see and step into my true power, and I'm forever grateful, and I have so much gratitude for all of you guys and from all of your support. So that's now, if you guys were to take one thing away from this video, I really want to encourage and share the message of, you guys don't need to become powerful, or you don't need to earn your passions. Okay, all of this is really just waiting. It's already within you guys. It's waiting inside, and it's waiting for, let's say, the permission for it to be released. So don't sell yourselves short, okay? You guys are so incredibly powerful, and teachers and gurus and tools can be a wonderful catalyst for our awakening and our journey, but don't feel like you guys need to rely on anything external to be complete or to fulfill those passions and joys. All right, so with that being said, I wanted to thank you guys for listening to a bit of my story. I'm going to dive into the second part of this video where we're going to talk a little bit about channeling and how I channel when it comes to the crystal ball, and my recent guide that I've been connecting with Sarah. Now, when it comes to channeling, or for example, crystal ball gazing, I'm going to share with you how I kind of go through this process and what I see and how I perceive messages. First of all, I have this beautiful crystal ball that was gifted to me by my partner, and I will say the moment I received this crystal ball and was spending a few moments with it, I was automatically seeing images pop up. So everybody has different ways of experiencing, perceiving, receiving downloads, messages. Sometimes they may hear it, they may get impressions, they may physically see something, and there isn't a right way, wrong way. Everybody has their own techniques and their own journey. But what I have to share too is there are certain key factors that I feel majority of channelers or mediums really should or need to follow, just to ensure there is a message that is not distorted, or that you're connecting with your higher self and you're not working with potentially other entities that could be cloaking themselves or coming in as with false hidden agendas. So when it comes to channeling or crystal ball gazing, you guys probably know what the first step is. Grounding. You guys really have to look at centering yourself. When you have your mind going in a million different directions, you're not going to be open. You have to become that conduit for these messages to come in. So you really want to spend a few moments and get yourself grounded, get yourself calm. How do we do this? With breath work, meditations, visualization. For me personally, I like to see, I'm a very visual person. I do get things in impressions, and sometimes I will occasionally hear things, not as often. They're more like impressions, but every once in a while I will hear something. But a majority of my messages come through actual visual images. So for myself, I like to kind of start by, again, I put my hand on my heart, I center myself, I do some breath work. So when you calm yourself, you calm your body, you calm your mind, you can enter into a more relaxed, neutral state. If you are problematic, if you have a million things on the go, and if you're thinking about what you're going to make for dinner, you're not being present, and being present is a key factor in this channeling process. So get yourself grounded. I like to physically see an image of roots coming from the bottom of my feet, anchoring into the earth. And for me, it helps to personally put my hand on my heart. I connect, I feel the energy of my love, my unconditional love, my frequency, my vibration, and I will connect to the Divine Mother. I ask for protection. I ask to connect with the highest self, okay? So you want to kind of create that atmosphere and frequency and vibration of love and authenticity. So for me personally, after I have done the visualization of grounding myself, I imagine those roots coming from the bottom of my soul, anchoring into the earth, and I've had my hand on my heart, and I have stated, you can truly, I'm big on affirmations, setting intentions, you guys. Setting intentions is also very key. So I am open to receiving love. I'm open to receiving truth and the highest wisdom from my higher self. And you can kind of think of an intention, or set an intention based off of what feels unique and true to yourself. So I will go through that process. But again, I am also very visual. So I see a lot of things. And when I'm connecting with the crystal ball, Pictures and images are very apparent and important to me because that's how I see a lot of the things. In terms of atmosphere as well, you want to be in a calm environment. I love my incense. I will use Palo Santos. I use my incense. I got my candle here. And it's just a beautiful atmosphere that you can relax and kind of lean into. Now, again, it's really important. Like for me, I like to feel the sensations because I can hear different frequencies in shifts in my ears, if that makes sense. Again, everybody can experience this differently, and it doesn't happen every time. For example, if you guys are looking to get messages from your guides or your spirits, your soul family, or just getting that intuitive messages, sometimes they don't come through right away. And I'm telling you, every time when this happens, it's usually because we're trying too hard. So you have to kind of play around with some different techniques and see what works best for you guys. So for me personally, I've kind of developed something new when it comes to my channeling. When I work with the crystal ball, again, a majority of the time, as I said, I will kind of spin it and gaze into it and see what images are coming out. A lot of the time something would pop out automatically, and sometimes I have to, dig a little bit deeper and see if I can connect on a deeper scale, because we don't always get what we want every single time. So don't get discouraged if this takes multiple times, you guys. Just keep on being consistent with your practices, okay? But I will kind of switch gears in terms of what has truly helped me, because again, sometimes gazing like this will very much, bring out certain images that you may be able to see and tap into. For me, that's how I like to do it, because I can see the images. But I have found recently, for those of you that have been following me, I have done a few videos on a guide that I have been connecting with by the name of Sarah, and she's a Palladian, also Syrian and Arcturian kind of consciousness, and I connected with her through, I wasn't even intending to connect with one of my guides at that point. I was looking to just see what insight was coming in, what messages were coming in, and I was journaling, okay? Automatic writing. These kind of things bring a creativity spark within you. So grab your pen and paper, and even if you don't know what to write, then start doodling. For me, I love to doodle the infinity sign, okay? And that's what I was doing when she came in. I was doodling the infinity sign, and this being has come in and shared some information and knowledge with me. That being said, when you guys are receiving messages from, let's say, spirits, galactic family, whatever it is, again, I'm going back to it, use your discernment, okay? Put them through some tests, because again, there are certain entities that have so-called, let's say, other hidden missions or hidden agendas. And not to say that, they're going to, feed you certain incorrect information, but it might not be for your highest good or for other people's highest good either. So just use your discernment with that. And something that I like to do to kind of put that to the test is I use a technique actually I learned from my partner. He's been channeling for many years, and this is a great technique that he's kind of taught me. It's a 3-tier system, and I encourage you guys all, if you guys are connecting with your guides or certain maybe extraterrestrial beings, test your beings, you guys. You want to see how they can interact with you when it comes to just being in your higher truth. So in terms of like going through a kind of an overview of what I can share about this is starting with the first, we can call it the first tier, and this is about standing in your center. So I personally like to put my hand on my heart, and I just get myself calm, you guys. Breath work, you have to have yourself calm. So as you're focusing on the breath work, or you're focusing on your breathing, sorry, Just allow yourself to relax, allow your mind, allow your body to relax, feel into the vibration of your heart, okay? You can affirm, like, I stand in my center and I will connect with my being. You guys may see your guides or your beings differently. I personally can see a visual of her, okay? You may just get a sensation. Maybe there's a buzzing in your ear, maybe there's a feeling, maybe you can see a color, okay? So it's very different for each person. I visually see her. And when I say I'm standing in my center, invite that being in. I'm standing in my center. Can you join me? Would you like to join me in this center? And if they agree, great. Move on to the next step. And then the next step for me is going, the second tier, I guess you can say, is going above or beyond the body. So I see myself leaving the body and I visualize just being an observer. You're completely observing. There's no judgment. There is a sense of just standing in your inner and higher truth, your inner higher mind. So I will visualize just my etheric essence, I guess you can say, observing. So I stand in my higher self, my higher mind, my higher truth, complete love, compassion to all. Invite your guide into that state. Will you join me? Sarah, will you join me in this state, in this higher state of truth, love, and harmony for all? And see what their response is. It's not usually like a yes or a no. It's a vibration. It's a feeling, okay? You will feel their energy. And if they are reluctant or you're getting a little bit of a distortion with that energy, pay attention to that, because those are usually signs that maybe there's something that's not in alignment with your higher truth. So for the third tier, this is kind of the tier where you want to be so still, you guys. It's all about focusing very subtly on that breath, being so quiet, so still. And as you're following that breath, see yourself as unity consciousness. Just see this divine love, divine unconditional love for absolutely all things. There's no mind involved. It's just you're completely immersed in unity consciousness. Okay, that's how I can explain it. But when you're in that state, invite them into that level of awareness where you are completely in that divine union. Can they meet you there? Invite your guides and see what happens. So those are kind of the three tiers that you can work with when you're looking at channeling, and just making sure that you are connecting with beings of higher beings that are in alignment with your higher self, okay? Now again, I know some people get a little frustrated because they don't receive those messages or that flow right away, and it does take time, you guys. It takes practice, it takes time, and I will say, every time for me personally, when I have like been trying so hard, that's when it doesn't work. When you finally surrender, you relax, and you just let that true natural flow come in, that's when the images for me start coming up. So it's a beautiful process, and I encourage you all to kind of tune in and listen to your true frequency and your vibration, and make sure that you are checking in with your guides as well, that they can meet you in those higher states of awareness, okay, and love. So I have to say, when I was connecting recently with my guide Sarah, again, this was a lot of the time it was through doodling. I was doodling and it just opened up that channel for me. But she was guiding me into working with wax and lavender as well, but I personally have worked a lot with herbs. Lavender is wonderful, especially when it comes to psychic awareness, intuition. It can really enhance those qualities. So that is why I incorporated lavender into my water with my recent channeling session. But I thought it was something different that I would share with you guys. I wasn't originally sure if I was going to post it or not, but it was just so phenomenal. And I am so still incredibly in awe that this butterfly, you guys, came out afterwards. There's just so many signs and synchronicities that I have received lately. So again, if you guys are doubting or struggling, talk to your guides, talk to your higher self, ask them to show you signs and synchronicities, but look for those subtle messages. Maybe for you it's seeing 11:11 on the clock. All these things are messages in how certain sometimes beings or guides or loved ones connect with us. Okay, so now before we wrap up this video, there was one other tool, let's say, that I can share with you guys that I have used, and I do occasionally still use it. I have lived in many houses that have had quite a bit of activity when it comes to like paranormal activity, and I've always had quite a bit of success getting messages or communications from spirits using spirit boxes. So again, this is absolutely one, you guys, you do want to use your discernment, because you don't know what kind of sometimes entities or beings that are trying to communicate with you. So again, going through those processes if you are using a spirit box. But I do have an app or in a spirit box that I will occasionally use, and I will say I do find it as an effective tool, because I do get quite a few successful messages or statements that come through when I'm conversing with spirits. So that is also another tool that I personally use here and there. And it's, just please do use your discernment with that one as well. So that's kind of a bit of an overview of some of the tools I use between tarot and the crystal ball, and just using as well your discernment, connecting with your higher truth, and you guys will be amazed at what intuition and what messages come through here. I wanted to thank you guys so much. I have so much love and gratitude for all you guys and joining me on this incredible journey. If you guys have any other questions about my story or about any of the tools, or if there is anything in particular you want me to do another video on, please do comment down below, and I'd be happy to take it from there and communicate with you guys more. So I'm wishing you guys all the best, so much love, so much light, and until next time, lovely soul family, bye for now.